Chilipad has just released the Chilipad 2.0. This is their newest version by Sleepme. I've tested the Dock Pro, the Uller, and some of their older models, but this is the newest one. We got pre-release access. I'm going to share all the details, what it's like putting it on your bed, the heating and cooling of each side of the bed. Is this thing actually worth your money? So today we're going to find out. Now, as you know, the biggest player in this game is 8sleep. I've tested a bunch of 8sleeps. I love them, and this product is slightly cheaper. It doesn't require subscription. It doesn't require Wi-Fi or internet to work, and it has an airplane mode. So I think those are the biggest differentiating factors. And if you only want one side of the bed, you can just buy one side of the bed. They have new sizes like a full and a twin XL, which almost no other providers that heat and cool your bed using water provide those sizes. I did have issues in the past where it would run out of water quickly. So we'll do some more long-term testing. Comment down below if you want to see that video. But today I'm going to show you the entire process, like what it's like putting the bed cover on, what it's like filling up with water, connecting the water tubes, how I think of the overall experience. I did think it was a bit challenging. I don't love that you need to have two hubs for two sides of the bed, but if you are just one person or your partner doesn't want a heating and cooling, but you do, this is a great option, whereas 8sleep, you're kind of paying for both sides automatically. We do have links in the description. If you click those links and use the discount codes, they help support the channel. They don't pay me to make this video, but they did provide this product for me to test it out. Now, what are my favorite things about this? One, you can get one side of the bed only. Two, there's a remote that can sit by your bedside. So you can slide the hub that pumps the water underneath your bed, have a bedside remote that's measuring temperature, humidity. You can actually control the temperature, turn your unit on and off. I think that's huge. 8sleep has like buttons on the side of the bed. It's hard to reach. It feels weird. I know this is an extra unit that you have to plug in and power up, but having the controls right by your bedside and it acts like a clock. You can plug your phone in. It has a USB-C charger. Big win. Second is no subscription. You don't have to pay for a subscription. It doesn't require Wi-Fi to work. It just operates, and you can have airplane mode. It's offline. And I know whenever there's a server outage, this device is still going to work. And third is the size. You can get a full coverage or half coverage for a full, a split king, a queen, a California king, a king, and even a twin XL. I think that's game changing. And it also has auto sensing, so it can figure out once you get into bed and start the cooling process for your schedule. Because maybe you don't go to bed at the same time every night, which you should, but if you don't, like me, because you're all over the place, it figures it out without having to power it up without you not being there. Now, the overall setup process was a little bit more challenging than I expected. There's a Hydrolayer that you have to insert yourself. I assume like if this breaks or something, will they replace it? That's something I don't know, but there's a lot more setup process than I had hoped. But I do like that this new cover wraps around the entire mattress, so it's less likely to move. You do have to have tubes coming from each side of the bed into your respective hubs that grab the water. You do need 4 power outlets. Did not love that. And with anything wireless and app-based, like you might have issues setting up the app. I did a little bit, but you know, you restart the app, you restart your phone, boom, it starts working again. These are challenges I've had with every single bed cooling device, and I've had with every single piece of technology that requires an app. This is the Chilipad cover. We're gonna place it on the queen bed mattress and then slide in the hydroponic cover water thingy right after that. So let me show you what this experience is like and if it's actually enjoyable or difficult. So you wanna unzip. This is the water layer. This is the top layer. Okay, so now, this is labeled head and foot. So I guess this could be the head.
What? Head and foot?
The head and foot, which means it's not the side.
Oh.
And then you slide. Yeah, there's these little bands that will go underneath the bed to keep it from moving around. Oh, there we go. She says it feels comfier than the 8sleep one so far. We got one win. Every corner has a band like this that needs to go underneath the mattress. And then you're gonna wrap this over with the black on top, the gray on the sides. And that's just gonna minimize this from moving around in the bed. How does it feel?
It's comfy.
So now we've got this cover here, but over here, there are these 2 zippers at the top of the mattress, which we're going to now pull around. Yep, all the way around. And this actually folds up. Okay, that's really interesting. Look at that. Oh, it comes totally off. Okay, so this zips totally off. And then we're gonna slide. Oh, it can come totally off here. So just, if you don't wanna deal with that, leave it as is. We'll take this out, and that's the water cover.
Does it need to go?
It says this side up, so that side needs to be up. So now that slides in, S-hook, boom. There's no tools required, which is nice, but this feels a little bit extensive. Okay, so now we've got this. It's a,
but I guess it won't slide once you...
Feels a little slippery, but if we tighten it even more on the top, all right, we're tight maxing. So maximum tightness here. This is weird that you have to have this separate and install it. Now, does it wiggle?
Yeah, but I don't think there's...
Do you think it'll be fine? So now there's like a second one you gotta install, and then you put this cover thing over it, and then hopefully the tubing doesn't move too much. We'll see how that experience is. It does feel a bit weird, but that's my first impression so far. This is the problem. We already lost some of the S hooks. Oh, there they are. More little parts, more installation creates more complexity. And when you are not the smartest like me, these things get a little hard. This side up, this is the tubing, the cover will come off and you'll plug the water hose right here. This is what it looks like with the cover on. You have two covers. There's a little bit of a gap. This is where the liquid is gonna run. So this is kind of the edges of it. You're not getting the entire coverage. Obviously you're not sleeping on this corner. But the top here has a bit of a gap. It says Chilipad on the top. This side up, so we anchored it in. The one thing I'm curious is like this moves. This moves, they are disconnected. Will this ever come over and lay that? Will this feel weird and uncomfortable? I don't know. We're gonna find out. But now that we've done that, the cover is going to now zip on over, just like so. So this provides a layer. It does feel very soft. It's cushiony. Can I feel the tubing when I rub here? Yes. This is plasticky. I don't feel it as much here. I still feel the tubing a little bit, but this also creates like the stitching is like a hexagon. So now we're gonna zip this up. I would say the cover doesn't feel extremely tight. The tubing is gonna stick out the edge here. Oh, I see. Okay, so the tubing needs to come out of here. So you gotta pull that out right there. So you have two hoses. The H-Sleep has one hose with 4 holes. This has 2 hoses with 2 holes each. And you're gonna plug one side into each end. It comes with a nice little Velcro wrapper. Unplug. I think both sides are pretty much the same. You have your 2 plugs right here. I made the same mistake. There's actually a hole down here that says Chilipad that it needs to go through. Okay, so it feeds through here, then that allows you to fully zip this closed. So now it's feeding through the bottom here like so. And then we're gonna feed the tubes out the back somewhere here to place those water chillers somewhere by the bed. Comfortable?
I felt like on the H-Sleep, like I was sleeping on that plastic.
We're gonna feed this.
Is there one dock?
There's 2 docks, one for each side of the bed. So we're gonna feed the hosing tube. Yeah, there's always gonna be dust by the bed, so make sure you clean and dust your bed. That will happen to the tubing over time. So now the next part is this thing comes with a remote. Where I just realized this needs a power outlet. You have your Nest thermostat control here, USB-C port for iPhone charging and powering this device. So one of the downsides I think is you're gonna have 2 plugs for each side of the bed. This is for the hub, the water cooler. This is for the remote control / iPhone charger. If you don't want the remote control iPhone charger, you don't have to plug it in. And this could kind of replace your iPhone charger if you have one in the bedroom, or maybe you have a no phone in the bedroom rule. But that is 2 outlets needed for each side, which is 4 outlets total. What is this world? We're plugging our bed in with 4 plugs. I guess H-Sleep has, I had to buy a power strip for the H-Sleep, so just keep that in mind. Remote control plugs in right here. This container out, unscrew the top. There's some goodies in there, a little gift bag. This you wanna make sure you keep. That's the drainer tool. If you decide to stop using this and you wanna store it, drain it because it will collect mold and other things, so don't use that. This right here is a system cleaner. We're gonna put the entire thing inside after we put some distilled water in. This is the tub for distilled water. Luckily I brought some. You can buy like a gallon at the store. I love this, all right? JC has no idea how to do this, and this is a great test. So, what did you do, JC? Tell me.
Well, why is there a USB-C back there? I plugged this into the USB-C back there.
So you plugged in the USB-C power into there, and then JC is a very smart, technologically intelligent woman, right? Correct, but there's 2 USB-C ports, so which one did you plug into?
This one says charging, and this one said 15 watts.
Yep, so actually, I thought the same thing. It does not plug into the charging, it plugs into the power one, because I thought that was charging, but the power is actually power for the device. 15 watts is for your device.
So this is just separate.
And then there is a USB-C port back here, which is not for that plug.
What's that?
So that is a bit confusing. It's like, which USB-C plug do you plug it into? Which power outlet? Not the easiest setup. You do have to read the instructions, but I'm gonna argue most people don't read the instructions, but these are just things to keep in mind while you're setting this up. So now this is the remote. It says continue on dock. I wonder if you can push it. Nope. We'll have to power the dock up and connect this. So now this is set up. It says connect water hose to Hydrolayer and dock. Then we can set it up. So the instructions do not specify which way this goes. There's obviously a button here to release. I'm gonna assume the button goes on the outside because it's easier to press. So now we've got 2 hubs. We're gonna fill it with distilled water. So distilled water is recommended to keep system free of contaminants. Obviously, if you don't use distilled water, there's more minerals and things like that inside. You can buy a gallon of distilled water at any store. We're gonna go ahead and pour this in. And you're gonna need more than this because it's gonna start pumping this around the system, and then you're gonna have to put more water in. So this is just like a preliminary. I'm gonna open this guy. Just be careful we don't spill it everywhere. Put it in. It feels like a lot, but it's not. And then we can throw this away. Now my hands are all soapy. We'll add a little more water.
Usually there's a fill line, but you know, clearly I don't follow instructions because that's part of the experiment. Will it break if we don't follow the instructions? Okay, there you go. And then you're gonna place this in the hub. Careful with, so this thing right here, that's how the water gets released. So some water might drip out of the bottom.
Like this.
Okay, so JC wants to put it vertical because it'll fit and look cleaner. So you cannot do that because I love that. That's very interesting. It has to be flat. The 8 Sleep though would have fit like that. But the Dock Pro.
Why didn't you get me an
Well, you can use discount code Shervin for any bed cooling device. So now we're going to slide this out of the way and try to get this in the right. Water inbound. Slide it right in here. Boom, connected. Hit the plus sign for next. Add 1 pack of system cleaner reservoir. We did that. Slowly filling. Okay, it's filling now. This is the sound it makes. It's pumping the water. So we're gonna have to open this again and add more water likely in a second here. And this is the dock. It says continue setup on the dock. Still waiting for that. Oh, it's already saying add more water. As you can see, it's totally empty already, so we're gonna have to add more water to this guy. All right, so we're gonna add more water here. Oh my gosh, it's going. You feel it? You feel the water? Add more water. Whoa. Oh my gosh, it literally used all the water. Okay, so you really need a lot of distilled water. I'd probably buy 2 gallons if possible. All right, it's official. The tanks are full. You can hear a little humming in the background from the second one, but let's see how they look. All right, so it is full. It says here, Hydrolayer full, which is a good sign. We're gonna go ahead and screw this on. Honestly, I just found it easier to leave that in there and fill it up. Boom, it's locked and loaded. We're gonna hit the plus sign for next step. Download the app, follow steps. Great. Cool sleep awaits. Amazing. It's off. I can press, there's no Wi-Fi connected. You can press on to turn it on, set it to cool, to the coldest setting. It goes as low as 55 degrees. And as high as 115 degrees. So we're gonna set it to the coldest setting here. So this is how it works. There's a bed here, which now there's assigned 2 docks. You can assign each side of the bed to a different person if you'd like. I did have some issues like reassigning the bed. I was trying to change it, and inside the app you can't really like change the side of the bed. You have to unassign it, and then I was trying to reassign, and it was so hard to figure out where to go assign. Even though it tells me, hey, when you tap on the dock, it says assign to Shervin Chair's left. But when I tap that, you can't change it to the right. I think some bit of feedback I'd love to see changed and improved. And then both the devices were just named dock, so I named them left dock, right dock, so I don't get confused. Obviously, you can factory reset, change all the settings inside the app. You have an active bed, you have the list of active devices, and then if you want to share the bed, you can tap share so someone else can have access and control their side. You can set up sleep schedules, and then finally, you can turn that on and off and change the temperatures. There are 3 ways to change the temperature. One is in the app. I can just go ahead and press that. It powers it on. I can change the temperature control right inside of here by just tapping that plus sign. So like it's super easy. Second is with the dial controls with the little nightstand remote that's plugged in via USB-C. You can just turn it like a Nest thermostat to change the temperature as well as turn it on and off. And third is actually doing it on the device itself. There's plus minus buttons on the device and the power buttons. You can turn it on. Plus minus, you can turn on airplane mode on the remote as well. And then the fourth way is setting up a schedule where it automatically turns on and off based on the time of day. Like if you know I go to bed around 10 p.m. every night, I can have it power on at that time and then change the temperature throughout the night. So now let's test the performance. How does it feel when it's cold? How does it feel when it's hot? How long does it take to do each one? So I'll set one side to extremely cold and the other side to extremely hot, and we'll time it and use a thermal gun to capture it. Starting the stopwatch, we're gonna make the right side as hot as possible. It's 115 degrees, so we're putting it on high. The left side, I'm gonna boot it up here. We're gonna press power and we're gonna set it to the lowest setting. This is actually, it feels pretty nice. Look at that, you can turn it up. We're gonna turn it all the way down to low. We can even come over here and adjust as needed, but we're going to full low and we're gonna see how long it takes to get to that level. If we use a thermal gun right now, it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit, 72. The right side is 72. So it's about 72, 73. I think the left side is definitely gonna get cooler faster. The hub itself is about 73 on the vents right now, and this hub is also about 73 on the vents. So I'm gonna use this to figure out how much. 2 watts of power right now. If we boot this up, put it to low, we're going to be using 55, 80 watts, 2 amps, 240 watts, 236, about 240 watts. This guy connected very quickly, that's good to know. And we are powering this up all through here, 230 watts. See how many kilowatts it uses as well. 2 amps, 230 watts. When it's idling, it only uses about 1.8 watts of power. In terms of noise, it's about 39, 40 decibels. If you come down here next to the Chilipad, 44 decibels. Even the sirens outside are louder than the device itself. It was about 44 decibels, so it was extremely quiet. Some rooms aren't even 44 decibels. 72 when I talk. I would argue that's pretty good in terms of noise levels. And this is what it sounds like when you're super close to it. Sometimes you'll hear these noises. That's the water going through. All right, it's been an hour and 21 minutes. We've only achieved 58 degrees Fahrenheit on the low setting. Usually it takes 45 minutes at most. So this is taking longer than usual. I think it just being very small and quiet degrades the performance a bit. So that's something to keep in mind. That's gonna heat and cool slower, but like if you have the schedule, that's where you should be fine. So let's measure and feel the temperature. 58 degrees on the thermometer over there, but 71 degrees on the actual cover itself. Once you put a bed sheet on, it's gonna feel a little bit warmer. So that's pretty good. We'll let it keep running. 69. Oh, this part's warm, that part's colder. It definitely feels cold. I can kind of feel the tubing. Like I feel the tubing right here. It's definitely starting to feel cold. So let's see how this performs as it keeps going. So far it's decent, it's working, it's operational, but not absolutely in love.
Now from a time to cool perspective, it did take about 2 hours and 13 minutes. Not sure why it took so long. The room was warm, so that could have been a factor. And then we tested the time to heat as well, and that took overall 21 minutes, which is much, much faster. It was able to get to its maximum of 116 degrees very quickly, and the minimum of 54 degrees Fahrenheit took a bit longer than I expected. But this thing is extremely quiet, so I wonder if the performance is just not as strong as the previous models. Final thoughts. I do believe bed cooling has been game-changing for me. Like, I cannot sleep in a bed that is not cooled. I love that you can do half a bed, and I wish there was a travel version. No company has made a travel version. When I travel, you're like, how do I sleep cold? That's the one. I realize how much I miss this device when I don't have it. There are so many great products out there. You have the BedJet, which is air cooling. You now have the Chilipad 2.0, which is going to provide, you know, one side and no subscription cooling. You do have 8 Sleep, which is like the most expensive, highest tier. They've been around the longest, and if you want something that's like the best of the best, that's the way to go. So there's so many different options. It just depends on how much money do you have, what are you willing to invest in, and what specific problems do you need to solve for. If you just want the bed cooling, just your side of the bed, Chilipad is the way to go. You want dual zone, maximum control, sleep tracking, a whole bunch of data as well, 8 Sleep is the way to go. If you want to save as much money as possible, you're okay with air cooling, not as powerful as water cooling options, BedJet is the way to go. I have links for all those products and reviews for all of those on my main and the second channel. Subscribe to notifications, click the links to purchase them. We'll see you in the next video. Let me know questions you have. If you want a deeper dive after 30 days, comment that. Peace.